We're back now, and it's time for the Political Fix. Joining me, MSNBC political analyst Michelle Bernard and New York Magazine's John Heilman. Ladies and gentlemen, Caroline Kennedy. She's been in the headlines, both good and for ill, for over a week now. The tabloids here in New York are killing her. The revelation that she hasn't exactly been a consistent voter. What's going to happen here, John?
You know, it looks to me, obviously, the tabloids have a thing for her. You know, it's not a great dynastic moment in New York politics right now. You know, I mean, even the mayor, who's obviously not part of a dynasty, but, you know, has provoked a certain amount of backlash with this third term stuff. There's kind of a populist moment for as New York is not a populous place, but there's kind of a populist moment happening here. And I sense, you know, the tabloids want to go hard at her. They're open to trying to take her down. Obviously, she has some opponents who are dropping some opposition research on her and want to also try to help to take her down. I suspect that, you know, it's pretty well wired, but the thing could just collapse of its own weight. If she looks up after another few weeks of this and it keeps getting kind of ugly and nasty and hard, she could just finally look up and say, I'm not sure I want to do this.
Yeah, you know, that struck me too. Michelle, one of the things that struck me more than anything else that's been mentioned about her is her voting record and the fact that she is a member of the Kennedy family, you know, a terrific political dynasty. No matter where you are in the ideological spectrum, they've been such a force in American life for so long. You would have thought that she would have voted. What about that?
Yeah, you would have thought that she voted in every single election, particularly when you think about who the members of her family are, and for the fact that so many people fought and died for all Americans to have the right to vote. That being said, this is something that Governor Patterson is going to have to deal with. This is not, right now at least, it is not an elected position. It will be somebody who is appointed by the governor, and he's going to, as he looks at all the candidates, he's going to have to decide, you know, in balancing this, just how important that is, and is she disqualified because she has not voted so many times.
John, get me excited here. Tell me about the tension convention. Andrew Cuomo, Caroline Kennedy, the marriage. I mean, he's divorced from Kerry Kennedy. Andrew Cuomo, the Attorney General of New York, son of the former governor. Come on, get me excited.
I mean, it's a simmering stew, Mike. You know, there's obviously, I mean, again, to go back to dynasties, talk about it's like two competing big political dynasties trying to get hold of this Senate seat. And, you know, there's been some suggestion on a couple of cable networks that it's possible that Andrew Cuomo might have been behind some of this opposition research, although I'm not sure there's any actual fact to claim to back that up. I've heard a couple of people say it on TV. You know, from Patterson's point of view, you know, if Caroline Kennedy hadn't come along, the Andrew Cuomo selection would have looked pretty smart. I mean, it would look like a pretty obvious political call because Andrew Cuomo might run against Patterson for governor if he doesn't have another thing to occupy him. It would have been an easy pick for him to put Cuomo in there and just, you know, get rid of a potential political rival. Now it's very hard, though. I mean, how do you look at the clear choice of the president-elect, although he doesn't say it? I mean, everyone assumes that Barack Obama wants Caroline Kennedy in the Senate and all the other Kennedy stuff around it. How do you look at that and walk away from it if you're Patterson? I'm not sure. It's hard.
But I mean, he's already in the middle of, or at the edge of, one gubernatorial appointment out in Illinois. I mean, does he really want to get in the middle of this one?
Well, he clearly has made a point of not getting in the middle of it, but you know how close he and Caroline Kennedy are. I mean, that's been telegraphed pretty clearly. Yeah. He's not going to get involved in any way, but if you're Patterson, you obviously know it would make the president-elect happy. If Caroline Kennedy got the job, you can't have missed the relationship that developed over the campaign.
Hey, you know, Michelle, another thing that strikes me sitting here in New York, if you take Caroline Kennedy and Andrew Cuomo out of the mix, and you take the congressional delegation out of the mix, I know a few states in this union who have a larger, more diverse, more eclectic, more accomplished population than New York. I mean, what would be wrong with choosing someone completely out of the box? I mean, someone, you know, look at the financial picture today. I mean, you've got all of these, you've got some smart people on Wall Street who could perhaps, you know, be of some benefit to us. I mean, what would be wrong with that?
I don't know if there's anybody on Wall Street right now that I would describe that way, but there probably wouldn't be anything wrong with it. I mean, honestly, you know, Governor Patterson, he's probably going to want to continue to be the governor, and I think this is where he's got to be a smart politician. He's really got to take the pulse of New Yorkers and figure out what his constituents want, and that's how he's got to decide who he's going to appoint to this position. Something really interesting, Mike, that I think that we should take a look at is that, you know, last week Kerry Kennedy said something that I disagreed with, which was that she thought that the seat should definitely be filled by a woman. I disagree with that. But one of the things I think people need to start asking themselves is why this backlash against Caroline Kennedy? Why aren't people submitting questions to Andrew Cuomo and asking him what his qualifications are? And why is it, you know, outside of the people who were Hillary Clinton supporters that are angry that Caroline Kennedy supported Barack Obama, why are people so vehemently against her and saying that she's disqualified?
Well, she's a fabulous headline. I mean, that's the answer to why she's in there every day. She's a fabulous headline. We're going to be right back with Michelle Bernard and John Heilman for more of the politics fix. You're watching Hardball only on MSNBC.
So my husband and I don't usually buy the latest electronics.
Honey, the movie's starting.
But thanks to Walmart and their low prices, we were able to